Hey everyone, and welcome to a new vlog. If you're new here, my name is April and I am a struggling writer. And by that I mean that writing is my everything. I love it. I don't want to do anything else ever for the rest of my life. But I'm learning that I must not be very good at it because I'm not really succeeding at anything. It's been a while, and unfortunately that's because my partner and I for the last month have been dealing with Khaleesi having some sudden health issues. She's doing much better now. We are having to give her steroids every day, like pills, and I don't want to get into the details because animal stuff like that is just sad and it's heavy, and I don't want to dump all of that on you guys. So like I said, I will just say that she's doing better now. She is eating, she's happy, she's playing with her brother, so my partner and I are cautiously optimistic, though it's frustrating because like I said, we've been dealing with this for the past month and we still have no answers as to like what's actually wrong with her and caused the initial like issues a month ago. So it's been frustrating, but like I said, cautiously optimistic. And really, writing is just hard. And if you're here, I'm sure you know that already. Writing is just hard. I have recently discovered that outlining is my downfall. And if you have watched any of my, past videos where I talk about outlining is my favorite thing to do. I love outlining, but I realize that the reason I love outlining is because I can basically write the whole story, and it, might be around 10, 12,000 words, but it's the whole story, beginning, middle, and end, I feel accomplished when I finish an outline. The problem with that is that I then go to write the story and I just lose all of my steam. And I think the problem is that I am over outlining when I write. A trait of mine that I've noticed when I'm writing that feels like it is likely tied to my autism is that when I write something, it's written. I treat it like it is gospel. It's written, it can't be changed. If I realize something isn't working with my characters and a normal writer would just then brainstorm new ways to make it work, I spiral because I'm like, what do you mean this isn't working? I can't change anything. And it's hard to explain, but like when I'm drafting, let's say I'm working on a second draft, and I knew when I wrote the first draft that this one major thing needed to be changed to work in the story, and I thought, I'll get to it in the second draft. Well, then I get to the second draft, and I'm paralyzed because what do you mean I have to change this? It's already been written, I can't change it, it's already there. And it's very difficult for me to work past that, I guess, and I've really been struggling. So when it comes to outlining with this, what I believe to be autistic trait, when I have an outline and it's the whole story, beginning, middle, and end, I feel I can't change anything. I am confined to what is in the outline. And so if I start writing it, and in the process of writing it, I realize what's in the outline doesn't feel organic, it doesn't work, or I have to make a character behave out of character in order to make it work, it's like, oh no, what do? I hit a wall because I can't change it, it's in the outline. And it's very hard for me to, I guess, get past those bumps. And so I will come up with outlines that I am so happy with and I'm so excited to write the story, and then I get to like chapter 3 or 4 and something goes wrong, like out of character, something's not organic, whatever it is, something goes wrong, and I don't know how to fix it because I'm paralyzed because I have to go off track from the outline and I don't know how to do that. So I've had to do some reflecting because, as I said, I love outlines. I need an outline. I need at least some form of roadmap to know where I'm going, or else I won't write at all. So while I'm trying to be a little more loose with my writing, I am doing what some people call discovery writing and what other people call headlights writing, because like the terminology is like you're writing as far as you can see, like in the headlights if you were driving, something to that effect. But basically you outline a couple scenes or a couple chapters, and then you go and you write those things, and then you go back to outlining the next couple scenes or couple chapters, and then you write those. And it's a way to be more flexible and spontaneous with your story, because maybe you outline a scene and then you write the scene and you get an idea for a better reactive scene after that, than the one you may have originally planned. So that's what I'm trying now, and you know, it is what it is. I'm writing, but it's not like, I don't have anything substantial to show for it at the moment. At first I was working on my Heartlines reboot, I was working on my young adult vampire hunter story. I finished the outlines, and I started to write them, and I got paralyzed, I lost interest, I threw them, you know, on the back burner again. So I've been playing around with new ideas, I'm just kind of experimenting at the moment. And one thing that I am trying with these experimental projects that I'm working on is that I will kind of brainstorm the foundation beats and be very vague and loose about it, and then outline just the first, you know, couple of scenes or whatever. And so if you don't know, the foundation beats, I recently read Jessica Brody's Save the Cat Writes a YA novel, which I found easier to digest and understand. I blame that on the autism, but she mentions that if you're not ready to do like a full beat sheet just yet, there's the 5 foundation beats that you can use instead. And that is the catalyst, the break into 2, the midpoint, the all is lost, and the break into 3. And these are all like beats that are single scene beats, and they kind of push the character into acting or reacting to something. So yeah, writing has been hard, and I'm not really ready to talk about the projects I'm working on yet. That's not what this vlog is for. I have found sometimes that if I get too excited about a project and I talk about it, sometimes that kind of kills my excitement, and I don't know why. So I figured I could use this vlog instead to talk about my new toy that's not really new, but it's, I'll explain, but it's my new toy to hopefully help me with zero drafting and take a lot of the pressure off of me when it comes to my perfectionism, I guess. So a lot of you will have probably seen these before. This is an AlphaSmart Neo. It is a portable word processor. Although I've seen other people call it like a smart keyboard or a digital typewriter. And it was something that was made back in the day for schools to help kids learn how to write and type, and they were a much cheaper alternative to computers, because of course computers used to be a lot more expensive. And I mean, it's weird because I went to a lot of Baltimore City schools when I was a kid, and I can remember I learned how to type on a computer. Granted, if my schools had had these, you know, they probably would have just gotten like beaten up and destroyed. But it's interesting that I never saw anything like this when I was in school, and I'm old, I'm 35, and I know I'll have people older than me coming in here and being like, that's not old, like, you know, you're still, you know, very young compared to me, but all things considered, I'm pretty old, and so I have never seen something like this in school, and I wish I had. But yeah, portable word processor. I originally had one of these back in like 2010 or 2011. I had bought it on like the official like Renaissance Learning website that was selling them, and I can't remember how much it was back then. But I bought it because it was like a cool new toy, and I didn't appreciate it at the time. It just wasn't for me at the time that I had it. The novelty wore off, and I didn't find a use in it because I was all about Microsoft Word and formatting and making my story look like a real book, so to speak. So I ended up donating mine originally because it just wasn't right for me at that time. And I think it was like 2013 that Renaissance Learning discontinued this product, because I do remember getting the email of them saying that, and I remember thinking at the time, whatever, this doesn't affect me at all. And so now you can only get these secondhand. People are selling them on eBay, some people sell them on Amazon secondhand. I think I saw somebody in Reddit, they even got theirs on like the Facebook Marketplace, but usually you can only find these on eBay nowadays. I decided I wanted one of these. I wanted something that was more lightweight than what I was currently using, which was either my MacBook, I would take that to work, or my iPad with my Logitech like combo folio keyboard. That keyboard made my iPad just as heavy as my MacBook, and I was so sick of just carrying it around. So I wanted something that was a little more lightweight, and the distraction-free aspect of it was also like a perk, because, you know, some people are like, oh, just turn off, you know, your internet, whatever. I still get distracted. I don't know how, I do. And you've probably seen these because I mean, if your, you know, pages look anything like what mine do, there's a product called the Freeride Traveler by Astro House? I'm not sure how it's supposed to be pronounced, but it's the Freeride Traveler, and I love it. It is gorgeous. It is perfect. It is so compact, and I love the keyboard. I love the way it looks. I want one so bad. it costs $500. Like, are you kidding me? $500, that's like my car payment. That's more than my car payment. So yeah, I looked into the pricing of that and I immediately closed out of the window because that is not happening. Not to mention, you spend $500 and from what I've seen, there's a typing lag and you're bound to make typos. And something like this, I have already discovered me making like a lot of typos, but when there's a lag, you're gonna make so many more typos. I can't handle the lag. It would annoy me too much. Like, I can't do it. So the Free Rate Traveler is a no-go. So I went on eBay. There was a time when you'd get these for like $50, but I think now that the Free Rate Traveler and all of the other products from Astro House are a thing, and more writers are seeing them and seeing the crazy prices, that, you know, they're discovering these as a much cheaper alternative. And so I think the demand for the AlphaSmart Neos is going up, excuse me. And so they are no longer as cheap as they used to be. This one was like $90. It came with everything it needed, and they replaced like the internal battery, and with the shipping and fees and whatnot, it came to about $100. And kind of pricey now, especially like I said, you could get them for like $50 at one point in time. But $100 is still much cheaper than the $500 Free Rate Traveler, so I'd say it's worth it. You will, if you write in public, you do get a lot of people asking about it, because I mean, it's cool. Most people, like, it's so funny. I don't know what schools these were in, because like everyone I see in my real life that sees this has never seen it before or anything like it. And they have like a million questions that I have to try and explain. And it's like, I pulled this out so I can write, and now I have to explain what it is to you. So like my break is gone basically. Also, for anyone who like might have one of these and is looking for something like a sleeve to carry it in, this is the jumbo sized book sleeve from Bookbo, and it is a perfect fit. Like it's snug, but it's not so tight that, like, you know, you worry about the integrity of the AlphaSmart. It is a perfect fit, and it just makes me feel better, and I feel like the buttons aren't going to get pressed while it's in my bag or anything. And you know, I had to get the coffee design. And so I thought I would kind of show off the product a little bit. I'm not like super knowledgeable about it. I know the basics. I know how to write and how to send it to yourself. But I thought I could talk about it a little bit just in case you are looking for something similar. You know, you're sick of lugging your laptop around, or you get easily distracted like I do when you're on your laptop. So I thought I would kind of show this off a little bit and just talk about it and have fun with it. Okay, so it is a full keyboard basically, and it has two ways of turning it on, just the on-off button, but you can also turn on like the 2-button power, if in case you're worried that it'll turn on in your bag. This method requires you hold down the enter key and then press the on button, and then it comes on. Oh shit, let me get off of that. And so this is a no frills writing device. It is totally plain text. There is absolutely no formatting to speak of. Like you can't italicize, there's no paragraph spacing, no line spacing. If you want to separate paragraphs, enter. When I was growing up and writing fan fiction, I would write fan fiction that way anyway. I would use like a WordPad, and that was how I wrote. So it's like going back to basics basically. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it is battery operated. You don't charge it or anything. And mine did come with like an adapter to plug it in, I think, but I threw it in a drawer and I haven't used it, so I have absolutely no interest. But yeah, and I don't feel like I need to go over all of these buttons. Oh, except fun fact, you will see, you know, that's the little like symbol on an Apple keyboard. These things were actually invented by like 2 engineers that worked for Apple at the time when they made this, and I just thought that was cool. I don't know. Just a little fun fact. There's 8 files, and they just are empty little, I think you can see my cursor there. Yeah. Just 8 little buttons here to switch between files. Your words save as you type, so you don't have to worry about constantly hitting the save button, even though I still do that. Let me type something, I don't know. Upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, it was a dark and stormy night. Grogu stole cheese from the fridge. What are you doing? Din asked. startling him. Oops, already made a typo. But Grogu did not care. Grogu had cheese. Okay, so you have your story here. And there is a spell check, but I will say, like, let me see. And it gives you options to ignore, edit, see for context. I think if you hit that, it shows you the full sentence. Yeah, so if you hit context, it shows you the full sentence, or you can add it to your dictionary. But I will say that this spell checker seems a little outdated. Like, I've used like normal words in here before that show up on the spell checker. So I don't typically use the spell check. I do like the word count button. You can see your characters, your paragraphs, and your word count. And this will show you, like, the file can only hold so much. So it'll show you like a meter as it fills up, but it holds a lot. I'm not 100% sure of like how many words it holds, but it's a lot. And oh, you can change the size of the text. You can't change the font, but like I said, it's just plain text, so that makes sense. It has all of these like applets, excuse me, that I've never used. I've never clicked into, like math facts. I don't care about that. Beamer, I have no idea what any of this is. So I don't use those. I only ever come in here to the control panel, change default alpha word font. I currently have it on medium, but you can change it to only show like 2 lines at a time. Let's see what that looks like. And sorry, I didn't know that would be the line. But yeah, so that, you know, if you have eye problems, you know, you can, sorry, I should have definitely like planned this better. But yeah, you can make it extra large, or you could do, like, the system is 4 lines. What's that look like? Let's see. So that's pretty big too. But I like the medium. I have found that the medium is just the best choice for me, but you could do small and you would see 6 lines on here. And there's no like page scrolling, so you are just constantly using the up and down arrows, because one thing that this kind of promotes in writers, it wasn't a selling point, but what writers have discovered is that it kind of promotes not editing, because you can only see this much of your work and there's no easy way to just scroll through it, basically. And there's so much other stuff that I don't know how to do or don't care about, because I'm just using it for like the bare bones. And sending it to your computer is super easy. You just hook it up with this cord. I'm not sure what kind of cord this is. Like I said, I paid $90 so that I could just get everything that came with it. Some people on eBay are only selling this thing. Some people are selling replacement cables, you know. So I just went with the whole shebang. But you plug it into just a regular USB. Obviously, if you're using Mac, you probably have to have some sort of adapter. And then this thing just plugs right into it. Make sure that you are on the file you want to send, by the way, because when you plug it in, it makes a connection, and then you can use this as your keyboard. It types, you know, on here. You would just want to open a blank document on your computer, which is taking much longer than it usually does for some freaking reason. And regardless of your default formatting, this is just going to show up with no formatting. So there's my blank pages document, and I'm going to hit this send button, but I want you to see the document. So you hit send, and it types it for you. So as you can see, it basically does it character by character. And so that means, you know, it will take a while. So you definitely want to be conscious of that when you're like sending it to yourself, that you have the time to send it to yourself, and you can't minimize this and do something else while it transfers. So it needs to be when you're not actively doing something on your computer. Oh, and real quick, after you've sent it, you've disconnected it, you can just hit clear file and press Y for yes or N for no. And your file is empty again and ready for your next new story. And that's it. I feel like I made it seem a lot more like complicated or exciting than it really is. It's just super simple, it's super basic, and I think that's going to help me a little bit because I get so caught up on stupid things. And obviously after you've sent it to your computer and it's not formatted in the slightest, you will then need to format it yourselves. But I think that's what makes it such a great tool for zero drafting, because if all goes according to plan, I will type up my zero draft on the AlphaSmart, probably chapter by chapter, send it over to my computer, and then when I am done, I can then go back and rewrite it like as a first draft. So I'll be rewriting it completely, and that's when I can do the formatting and making it look better and easier to read. And I think that's going to be super helpful for me, and I'm just excited to see where it goes, I guess. And so, like I said, I don't want to talk about what I'm writing because I don't even know what I'm writing at the moment. But I am still writing, and that's what counts. And I hope all of you are having a better go of things than I am. Well, apart from Khaleesi and just apart from being busy, I really can't complain about anything, so let me not complain. I hope everyone is doing well. Let me know how your writing is going. What have you been reading lately? Because I recently reread Divergent by Veronica Roth. I read the whole series and the short stories that came after. And honestly, I loved it just as much as I did the first time I read it, so I don't even care. It was good. You can make fun of me all you want. It's a good series. I think young adult books were allowed to be a little cornier and just simpler back then. I feel like, personally, in my humble opinion, I feel like young adult is, as a category, is now something that's taken a little too seriously sometimes. And that's just my personal opinion. I just want to put it out there. But yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna read next. I obviously have a TBR, it's miles long, but I'm not sure, nothing's really calling out to me. So what have you been reading? Like, I don't know, give me some recs, I guess. And I will see you guys in my next video, whenever that ends up being, before I get too sappy. Thanks. Thanks for being here, and thanks for watching. And like I said, I will see you in my next video.